Good morning, children. Today we are going to be talking about a lovely story that a lot of people have been pressing for in the fields of YA for me to review. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Very honestly, this isn't even a book that made me mad. It didn't make me feel anything, honestly. I'm so unenthused to review this book that I almost just skipped it because there was absolutely nothing I had to say about it. But we're gonna talk about it. We're still gonna go by my 5-star system. I don't think it got any stars in concordance with my 5-star system, but we're gonna talk about it anyways. We're gonna talk about things I did not like because there really wasn't anything I did like. And that sucks because I kind of expected something from this one. It was supposed to be supernatural. I'm not blaming anyone but myself for picking up this book when I should have known what was coming. I honestly really should have, but sometimes I like to go by the philosophy of don't judge a book by its cover, don't listen to other critics to form your opinions. You know, you gotta make those opinions yourself. But I don't know. Every time I try to give something like this a chance, it just breaks my heart. Just every time. And like I feel like I've spent like way too long just talking about my inability to see point in reviewing this. So let's review it. My 5-star system, as you guys know, I assign a star to each category, which I think puts a book together correctly and what should be good to make a good book. I've spent a very long time kind of curating the perfect rating system so that I can be fair for everything. I can give credit where credit is due, and even though I may love a book, I can still see faults in it. And it works so well until I get books that are literally just going to be no stars, which you can't do. You can't do on Goodreads, you can't do that anywhere. No kind of rating system has 0 stars. So here we go. First star that the book didn't get had to do with plot. The premise itself could have been interesting. This one is marketed as a supernatural romance where a girl, Mara Dyer, kills her friend somehow. It doesn't say. It has a really cool opening, I'll give it that, where it's like her friends with a Ouija board. Yeah, it's a little cliche, but it really adds to like what I think the tone was supposed to be, where they're just all like, how am I gonna die? And then it spells out her name and they're like, what? And then it says they're dead. And then the book starts. Mara Dyer is suffering from extreme PTSD in this book. And that comes from a situation that she cannot remember at all, where she is found in a collapsed building with all of her friends, and she is the only survivor of it. In this book, she moves to a new town to get a fresh start while still having PTSD attacks that also come with some pretty wild hallucinations. That's basically the context of her character, but we're getting into character later. So it adds to a very good beginning of a plot. Honestly, you could do a lot with that. You could talk about PTSD. You can try to see the mystery in everything, and you can have her trying to figure out what happened, maybe trying to move on along the way. There's potential. There is potential. But what the book does, I think I even marked it out. I don't even remember where I marked it out. Where this much here was story, and then this much here was story. And then all of this was the most eye-roll worthy romance that had nothing to do with the plot, other than it seemed like the book was written at the beginning as a eye-roll worthy romance, and then they were like, we need more substance to it, so they just threw in these 2 chunks. The romance was very cringy, very like hate to love in like the worst possible kind of way, where the extent of them building a relationship was just insulting each other until they weren't anymore. Which I think is very juvenile to begin with. It adds no character to anything in the relationship on either side. It doesn't show how well they're together or why they're even together, other than they're both really hot and they're in the same proximity a lot of the time, but they're angry at each other. So that's a good foundation. Anyways, I wasn't invested at all. There was a twist at the end that I didn't care enough about, like, at all, because everything else was just done so awkwardly. And most of the time I felt like I was just reading two different books. So whenever something did happen, the mystery wasn't even like, the mystery of what happened wasn't even something that was well solved. It just all came back in dreams and flashbacks, which is okay. But in the way that, and all the time it wastes building a relationship that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. They could have done more with that. They could have done something more with substance, but no. It's just a really, I don't know, very teenage type of romance, which, yeah, this is YA. Emotion, 2nd star. Other than annoyance, there was no emotion from me. 3rd star was for importance. It really didn't have anything to say. I took nothing away from it. It's been out a month since I've read it, and it is already unraveling in my mind. I just remember how it ended. I remember how it began. All in the middle is just fluff. Let me think. Character, which I reserve the last 2 stars of the 5-star system for, because that's the most important thing. Because if you don't care about the characters, you're not going to care about anything. She had vaguely explained hallucinatory PTSD. He had an accent, and they were both sarcastic, and that was it. And they just mashed their faces together, and like, that's it. So I didn't really care about anything that was happening. Honestly, I feel like I'm just wasting time talking about this, because I don't want to feel like a book is beneath me or anything like that. It just doesn't even seem like something to talk about. There was nothing offensive in it. There was nothing good in it either. So I just think it's a meh book I'm gonna completely forget about. I'm gonna be giving this one away. Find it a home that may love it, but I did not love it. Sorry guys, 0 out of 5 stars, I guess. On Goodreads it'll probably say 1, because I can't do 0. Yeah, that's my sort of review. Although I feel like it's unfair just bashing a book for an entire video, but I really can't say anything. Like, I really can't. Anyways, I'm going. Thank you all for tuning in. This was the first book in my romance month, where I read at least, 3, 4 romances for Valentine's Day. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day. Later, taters.